clean. And most of it was just not having met for over a month. We were just kind of tracking some things down. So we're going to see where that goes. I don't think there was anything we had to report, that everything was kind of pending. So, do you have anything?
No, really. At the HDC's meeting this Wednesday night, I believe, forward the proposed plans. They did change the seminary ones.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, and what they did was, which I thought was, it's funny, both Tom Ambrose and I had said to him initially, oh, use the downstairs as a floor because you had the egress. So that's what they did. They still have 4 floors, but the 4th floor, or the 1st floor, is where the cafeteria used to be, downstairs. And then they built up from there, so in effect from the front and the back, it's a lower roof line. And I think that should work pretty good. So that's on the agenda for Wednesday night, but I don't have anything else to report at this point.
Okay.
Still working on that wall issue with conservation. That private property that moves some of the wall.
79E group is going to meet tomorrow night before the planning board meeting about Chinsburg. And I think how it sounds, we're just going to pretty much leave everything how it is and just reword everything to cover it.
Good.
He's actually the one that told us how and why we could do different things, and they verified that it was right because he knows it inside and out.
He's not. It's not his first time at the rodeo.
The other thing is, I told the Heritage Group, I couldn't think which one it was, that we were going to expect the work at the barn to go on warrant, and they were okay with that. I mean, they were a little reluctant, but okay, understood why. And they're going to try to have us the pricing at least from one contractor before it has to go to warrant, which is January 11th, understand. They may not have all the bids, but they'll at least have one, so we have a ballpark on how much money there is.
That's January 11th. That's going to come fast.
Yeah. Well, I think they've sent everything out, and they're expecting people to show up like the 28th to bid, and then, expecting things to come back quickly. That's it.
Okay. Old business. We have updated candidates for the recycling and solar planning committees. Now that the application period is closed, I guess we didn't talk about that the other day, but I was figuring we could kind of reach out to each of these people, gauge their level of interest, and figure, because we decided on 6.
Ideally 6, and then one of us would be the odd number, so we'd have it's either 4 or 6. So I think you need a minimum of 4. And, I go with the 6.
6 wouldn't be bad because of no-shows.
Right, and just, and there is a nice variety of neighborhoods too, which is good, so that will be, their input would be good. So, I'll try to make the calls this week, because I don't want to call anybody next week.
Okay.
Before Christmas. And then if I don't get them this week, after Christmas, we'll kind of settle it up. I'm looking at either a Wednesday or Thursday night on a regular basis. I don't usually have meetings on Wednesday night. HDC is usually a Tuesday night. And I only have the second Thursday with the ZBA, so that's not a big deal. I can do the 1st or 3rd. So I'm going to go either Wednesday or Thursday. Then it stays away from planning board in case we get the planning board. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
And then
I was
if you wanted to
figuring
come
on
to
Wednesday or
something-
Thursday, but
Okay. We shouldn't have it on the same day. We should try to. Do you have any preference?
how about offsetting these?
I would agree with that, but.
I mean, I think this is going to be more people are going to be assigned research.
Correct,
topics.
but you're going to want a regular monthly meeting,
Right.
and that's if it's the second Wednesday, then let's go with the second Wednesday. You tell me whether you're on Wednesdays or Thursdays, I mean,
It's a message from Glenn Koppelman, he's interested in the solar.
he's interested. He never called in on any of the, all right. If I have room, I'll put him on.
Well, let's do that, the second Wednesday
Okay,
for yours, and then mine will be the third Wednesday.
okay. That way, if either one of us wanted to go to the other, you could, or cover, whatever. I think that would work out good.
I was thinking before we kind of present what we talked about on Wednesday, I'd like to talk to people and also get an idea of what their interpretations of this will be, because there may be concerns that we're not aware of.
Yep,
So,
okay.
but I will say for the recycling, the intent is to, at the 6-month mark, just basically present findings to the select board and kind of get an idea of which way we want to proceed, with the intent of having a warrant article ready for
Next year.
next year's voting. So,
And when's Waste Management's contract up? Is it the end of this
End
coming
of
year?
next year, right?
Yes.
And we got a year, but it'll come by fast.
yeah, I think this will be key to understanding the parameters we want other people to bid on, so.
I was gonna say to Susan, next week we'll confirm, after we've talked to everybody, then confirm with you when to post it on the website, so that it's open to the public, and we'll be in here at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Does that work? Stick with 7, okay. That's good.
As far as double polls, I was really hoping to have that updated today, but there's a couple on there that I just need to double check the numbers on, and I was hoping to get that done today, and then we'll be getting a spreadsheet together, and just updating that. Policy for uncollectible funds.
You had me send it to Sumner for his input, and I haven't heard back yet, so.
Tell him what's he waiting for. I read it, I thought it was pretty good, and it was pretty inclusive, it was pretty clear about the fees. Tell him we take off time off his check, if he doesn't get back in a short period.
His pay.
I once billed a doctor who kept me waiting always for an hour. Every time I said, call me, I'm about 15 minutes away. Sent him a bill one time, and it was the last time he was late. And I was over 24 at the time.
Careful what you wish for.
I know. That's true.
All right. New business. So I think everybody has this in their packet,
Yep.
the memo. So I would make a motion that we apply for a Visa card on behalf of the town of Kingston with Partners Bank, with any cards acquired to fall under the credit card policy as proposed, or as approved by the select board last month.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, motion carries. I'll let someone else make this one.
On Unitil?
It's
No.
part of this memo. Someone needs to authorize the chair and the town treasurer to approve the application for
Oh.
credit cards.
I make the motion.
Second.
I got a copy of that. for
Okay,
you.
motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, so signature file. Allow me to sign for that. Do not write in this area. But it says sign here.
There's a place you should sign and a place where you shouldn't sign.
All right.
What am I, like 5, making doodles in the margin?
We're trying to keep that from happening. want you to vote on a total credit line amount as well.
Well, with a credit line so that they don't have to come to us for every item.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's supposed to be the department heads that would be authorizing it, correct?
Right, when we voted on this, it was to authorize the department heads what they were allowed under the existing policy, which I believe is 5,000.
Sounds right, but I'm not sure.
It's either 2,500 or 5,000, I don't know which one of those
I
two.
thought it was 1,000, but whatever the policy is, that's what it's approved to.
If
I
it's
thought
over
we bumped that
1,000,
up,
they need
though.
to approve it. I think it was over 1,000, they need approval, right? Is that
That's what I
yeah.
thought.
So on this credit line, the bank was saying we could change it, we could bump it up temporarily if there was a higher amount needed, so.
Well, I mean,
Well, there's two different things. We're talking about a total credit line on each person, and then we're talking about a one-time spending line.
correct.
So,
I mean, I would say the card's gotta be at least $3,000, I would bet, but I don't know. I don't think that's.
because they said they can, with a phone call, they can bump it up if we need to.
Correct.
So I don't think we need to have a motion on this. I think the agreed upon policy was that whatever the purchasing policy is for department heads, that would be their credit limit, what they can have without select board approval.
Correct.
And again, the list of employees to be offered would be the road agent, the chief of police, the fire chief, the rec director.
Library director?
Yep.
And it's a separate, because
That's-
the
no.
money's separate, okay. I'm good with
But-
that, just wanted to.
Town clerk,
I don't think she needed one.
okay.
But if she does, she could. She's still a department
It
head.
is a department.
Let's Cindy.
Cindy's not interested in that.
Okay.
Well, let's get those four, and if there's, I don't think there's any other department heads, so we should be good on that.
Did you say highway?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, oh, road agent, I got you. The initials.
Sorry, highway agent.
I'll
And you're
let the
leaving
chair
out-
of the selectmen.
we could. Do you ever spend money for the town, I mean, as chairman? Other than your
Not
taxes?
enough to, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
if you want me to start taking people out to lunch and stuff.
People are
You'll be
supposed to
late,
do-
so what the heck's the difference?
I think you mentioned me, but I don't know why I would need one, really.
I don't think we've run into a situation, I mean, this is for,
They have to order
They
something.
get
Emergency.
stuff all the
Necessary.
time, the other departments, they need them in the office or for a truck or for,
Yeah.
or just where you can't use a PO. I don't think we've run into anything like.
No, I order flowers for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notebooks or folders, or,
Bills.
you know, we have a Staples account, so.
yeah.
I think that's the initial four, and let's do a test group on those
Yeah,
four
let's see
and
how it
see how it
works.
goes, but I don't think there's no intent for it to go beyond department heads.
Okay.
All right. I think that's everything on there.
Need a motion on the Unitil.
I'm assuming this has nothing to do with the polls, right?
No, this is the good utility.
Okay.
This is what was in the warrant article, but it was an estimate, so she's saying it wasn't in the revenue of the budget because it was an estimate of what we'd get back from them. So she wants you to cover the bases by accepting it now.
So,
Unanticipated revenue?
Yeah,
for the public, this is a check from Unitil for $16,946.50. This is a rebate from the LED lighting program that the town participated in. And this was a portion of that with the warrant article that was passed by the voters. This has been, all these lights have been put up to see them around town. It's a lot brighter. And this is part of the savings that we were looking at. So, again, total $16,946.50. And can I get a motion to accept those as unanticipated revenue?
Yes.
A second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, motion carries.
Equalization studies.
Yeah, what is that?
That's, an assessing document that has to be filed every year. It's got a little note on there, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but it needs your signatures. I think the equalization rate has to do with the sales versus assessed values.
What is our target equalization rate? Come on, Susan.
27,580, I don't know what.
Sounds
year.
good.
All right, can I get a motion from the board to authorize me to sign? Or, I'm sorry, everybody gets to sign this.
Yes.
Never mind. You can vote by your signature.
Okay. Before we go into public comment, I have a question to my colleagues. I wanted to put into the capital improvement plan our desire to have the building reviewed, this building, the town hall, to maximize its use for office space. What amount should I put in it? We had talked $40,000. Is that reasonable?
How much?
40,000?
Four.
An estimate on how we would want to have the building. I think that's a lot, but I don't know how much depth.
Depends on how far we want to take it.
Do we want to put in 25,000? At least to get it on the table and on the books. I guess that's where I'm looking to make sure, so that we don't let it go. Get it on our radar screen. I mean, it'll make a difference whether we have someone come in and do a review and give us a CAD drawing, rough versus a detailed for specs. It's two different things. To me, I would guess that initially we would want a rough CAD drawing, a computer design.
Let me ask you this, can we delay this a week?
We can delay it as long as you want. I have it
Well,
on my
we
to-do
need to do it in
list.
this year, but I've got a couple of calls into people,
Okay.
and maybe I can push them and get a ballpark price for what it would take.
And we're running into Christmas, and I get that, and I will just put this on keep it on my tickler file, because I feel that if we at least get it on the program, then we can get something done eventually.
Remember, you don't meet next week also.
Right, we won't meet next week, but we're gonna meet the following week for department head. and,
27th.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number of, let's,
I just don't wanna make up a number, I just wanna have some guidance.
I
from
think
you
that's
guys.
what I would be doing if I gave you a
Yeah,
number.
so would I mean, that's exactly correct. I just think that once we get it on, then it will become an action item, and that's important for us to do that. So I don't keep it up to the first of the year, but I'll keep it on the
Okay.
to-do list. Okay, that was it for now.
okay. That brings us to our second public comment of the evening. Seeing no public. First thing, I'm gonna skip around on what's the list here, but, I have a letter from a resident whose bank paid their taxes but did not take the discount. They are getting this in before the final
The
date.
deadline,
Yes.
Yes.
So, I'll accept a motion to allow this discount to be paid, to be remitted.
Yes.
second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions? Just a reminder for everybody, tomorrow is the last day. Get your taxes paid to get your early payment discount. Okay, we also have a letter here from the planning chair regarding the lighting ordinance.
We're still working on that. Tom is trying to find information on those lights, but he told me the other day that they're 70-watt bulbs. And if that's true, then they don't need to be shielded.
But they're not incandescent.
Right, but they're equal to 70 watt. And that's what this says, is it says 100 watt needs to be shielded, equal to 100 watt. But regardless of whatever, we're still working on getting the details on that.
Any exemptions to this ordinance?
What's
Mhm.
that?
Any exemptions to this ordinance?
No. And
And I would suggest that we don't pass it.
This is passed.
that is passed.
This is the
That's
ordinance.
the rule. And it's got two conflicting things in it, that we got into the other night with the planning board, but to be dark sky, they don't have to be shielded. But our thing says that if they're 100 watt equal or more, they do.
This is another
So-
one of those things where our planner didn't catch it because.
No, it's, I wouldn't say that, I'd just say it's probably where we didn't know enough about it
Oh,
at the
okay,
time.
yep, okay.
Are they gonna modify it this year? Something's gonna do?
No, I don't think we're trying to do that. I think that we may want to clarify it later, once we resolve this, but bottom line is that they need to be paying more attention to the details of the lights when they're approving them. You know, because
So, but because Bresnahan hasn't approved, correct?
he has got approved. But
Our neighbors upset, is that what's going on down there? Maybe we should take a ride at night.
well, I have, and it's bright.
Is it right? Yeah.
But I also go back to saying I think the inside lights shine out as much as the outdoor lights.
Which, yeah, exactly, and if that's the case, then there's no rules on that.
Okay,
And
But we're still working on this, basically.
okay. Did you get comments on it, chief?
I do. It's gonna be a legal issue, so I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay.
we have a email regarding Lone Tree sale.
A lot of people may not know that that's on the market now, so.
That's sad.
Yeah, apparently, because of lawsuits against the Boy Scouts of America, the Lone Tree Scout Reservation is apparently going to be sold.
Does it say, does that include the house on Route
I
125?
think it includes the total property,
Total property.
How big a property is it? How
like
many acres?
136 acres
Is
or
that right,
something.
that big, really?
Yeah.
And that's on the powwow, right? Wow.
But it's that, you know, the brown house up on 125, it's
Yeah.
all of that all the way
Yeah,
around.
Yeah, yeah.
That whole field that runs behind there,
Oh, I wish I had the money to buy it, I would.
that's a huge piece of land, just that one house there.
We
Corner of
should
West Shore
spend the
Park.
money to buy it. You've got it.
Go stop. You have no idea what I do or do not.
Anyway, that's for everybody's knowledge. This is from Sandra Maida, and she just would like the board and the town to work to keep it as a non-polluting neighbor, as the Scouts have been for a number of years. So. The other thing I have in the signature folder, we have a new copier.
For Mrs. Tammy.
Phil, we saw a copier today that the town should buy, a scanner copier, it's $250,000, so. 80,000 documents an hour.
I bet it does a few more things than just scan and copy.
What gets me is that they had all this fancy equipment, but nothing would open an envelope. They have to do that by hand.
Seriously?
They have to do that by hand. Once it's opened and stacked, it'll scan 80,000 of them an hour.
Well,
So is this in Tammy's budget?
That's, she handed that to me today. I remember her talking about it. Remember they were gonna send the old one out. And I don't remember all the details, but I think it's already been discussed. If you wanna hold up, you can.
I thought we had talked about taking it into this year's budget.
Yes.
Unexpended funds, I don't just, yeah,
And then their old one was gonna go to the museum.
right.
I'll just meet with Tammy on this tomorrow.
Sure.
Sign it.
Okay.
And that total notice thing is what she does every year. They're the people that do her deed searches, I think, for, tax bills and tax deeding.
Were these the people who just didn't do it last year and checked out? Or was that someone else?
I think there were some issues during COVID, but I don't remember if it was that company. But she's happy with them. She said it went up slightly, but not enough to deter her wanting to continue with them.
Okay. Any issue with me signing this for the board?
No, not for me. We should come in 7 minutes early all the time.
All the season.
Two things while you're signing. Reminder that a lot of the building fees go up January 1st.
Okay, yeah.
So if any of the public needs a permit, they ought to do it
Get
this
it.
week or next. And the other one is just on the digitizing. We took a field trip today to a company in Portsmouth, Workforce, right?
Records Force.
Records Force. Very impressive operation. That's the one that's a family operation. The son's the salesman, and they went through and showed us how everything works. So it's very impressive. We're probably going to set up one more field trip to one of the other companies in Manchester.
Great.
But this company seemed to have all the answers we wanted, and time frame was pretty good on what they claimed and they could do. And the thing that they explained that I thought was true, but they're gonna set up our scanners and everything here and then start scanning there so we can use them immediately as they're progressing.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And their IT team will meet with our IT team and turn everything over, and everything we do is like QuickBooks Online works with this system, everything. I mean, it seemed like every question we asked, they had the right answer for. And they didn't seem to, extra this, extra that, everything we asked, they said, no, that's included. Where some of the other companies have said, no, that'll be.
A lot of add-ons.
That's great, and I like the idea that it's family owned in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
They started the company in the father's basement, parents' basement.
Love those
And then
stories.
expanded. And like I say, they just bought two $250,000 scanners.
Cool.
And these machines have the ability to scan a piece of paper, and like if the ink runs through the paper, the machine's smart enough to know not to copy the backside of the paper.
Do you know how those shred day fundraisers work? Is that something we as a town might want to do for our residents? Where we hire a company like this that's already doing business with us to come and set up with a truck for a day with their shredder.
I know, was it you or the fire department who just recently someone just had a shredder brought in or
That'd be fire.
yeah,
Really?
and they invited all the other departments to
Oh, is
participate.
that right? Yeah.
Am I making that up or?
I didn't.
They didn't
I'm
invite
not
you?
a-
I didn't know anything about it, but speaking of shredding, what this company does is they scan everything, then they store it for 3 months. And then at the end of 3 months, we sign something, either bring it back or shred it.
Okay.
So we get that option.
That's
And
very good too.
they said the majority of the property files and things like that get shredded. Fire and police records typically come back, financials come back, you know, so. I tried to sell them a bunch of surplus file cabinets while I was there, but they said everybody asked about that.
He said they have plenty of paper clips and staples.
Oh,
if
yeah.
They want those.
He said he wants to put like an 8x8 jar in downtown Portsmouth full of paper clips, and whoever can guess how many are in there.
It's a
Because
prize.
he said that's the hardest part of the job, is taking the staples out, the paper clips off, and moving sticky notes.
That's interesting.
But it was a good trip.
Good, good.
I'll entertain a motion on the minutes for December 6th.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
Okay.
Is that it?
Anybody else got anything?
Still on legal issue.
Oh, we
On
do have,
non-public?
we need a non-public?
Okay.
Okay.
Take a motion.
Make a motion on the non-public legal issue.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Alessio,
Yep.
Briggs,
Yes.
Coombs,
Yes.
and Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, that will conclude the public portion of this evening's meeting. Thank you for joining us. There will be no meeting next